Today's podcast is brought to you by warbyparker.com. Get a free 5-day home try-on at www.warbyparkertrial.com/SIBSB. 5 pairs, 5 days, 100% free.
Until I met my new best friend. All of my boys say I'm tripping. When they call, I'm not answering. They always get my voicemail.
Alex, are we rolling? We are rolling. Welcome to another episode of Sorry I've Been So Busy. This is the podcast where we talk to very busy people about what they are busy with. Sometimes we talk to not very busy people about what they pretend to be busy with all day. We have a very special guest today. I'm very excited to catch up with him. I haven't seen him in a while. Andrew Goldstein is here.
At Ange Gold on Twitter, ANGEGOLD.
Welcome. Good to see you, sir. My name is Matt Goldich, at Matt Goldich, GOLDICH on Twitter. We're here in the wonderful Showbiz Studios in New York's scenic East Village.
Freezing.
It's very cold. Producer Alex is here. And please, for all the information on all the other podcasts they have at Showbiz, check out showbizstudios.com, the YouTube page, the Facebook page, at Showbiz, BRIZ Studios on Twitter. Go to our Facebook page, the Sorry I've Been So Busy Facebook page. Go to our Twitter, at Busy Podcast. Rate and review us on iTunes.
Cute, very important. We need those 5-star reviews.
Yes. And you can also listen to us on Stitcher, Google Play. Are we on Google Play? I have no idea. We're on Google Play.
I think there's a link to our podcast in the Nunez memo.
Yes.
I think you can check that out
find us
when that gets released.
You can find us in the Steele dossier.
Yeah.
All right.
All good places to find the podcast.
Is that all the business out of the way? Alex, anything exciting in the Showbiz Network you want us to mention? No,
we
never.
We have 2 very big shows coming up.
Oh, yes.
We have some podcast news.
That's right, yeah.
We do not have ticket information for either of these, but our first 2 live shows are coming up, both for significant reasons. The first on March 9th, which is a Friday at 6 p.m. at the Stand Comedy Club, former guest of the pod, Dave Kimowitz's Comedy Club. Mm-hmm. The Stand, it's our 100th episode.
Yeah,
Congratulations,
100th
Matt. Mazel tov.
Thank you. We made it.
Our 100th episode, and we will have 2 very funny comedians. I say we keep it a surprise for now.
For now, let's keep it a surprise.
For now, until it's more of a lockdown. Mm-hmm. But 2 very funny guests, and maybe some other special guests will pop by. But 6 p.m., March 9th, at the Stand. It's our 100th episode. Mm-hmm. We'd love you to be there. We'll have ticket information on future podcasts and on social media. And then a month after that, April 8th, which is a Sunday.
You have the dates at the ready. I love it.
April 8th. Sunday, April 8th, 1 p.m., I believe, at the Bell House as part of the New York Podcast Festival. We got invited to the New York Podcast Festival, and I'm gonna go ahead and say who our guest is.
I don't think it's at the Bell House.
Where is it?
I don't know.
People have been saying the Bell House. We'll get that information in a second, but really huge guest if you're a fan of the HQ Trivia app.
Yeah, Scott Rogowski.
We are going to have Scott Rogowski. The Quiz Daddy himself is booked.
This says Abrams Art Center.
Abrams Art Center.
Abrons Art Center.
Sounds like
Grand
a Jewish
Street.
day school.
I know, right? Yeah.
Anyway, 2 big shows.
We're going to clarify that.
Our 100th episode at the Stand on March 9th, and then April 8th as part of the New York Podcast Festival with Scott Rogowski, Quiz Daddy from HQ.
Our guest is live streaming this. Alex wants to chime in.
We're blowing up.
We are, yes. Alex, go ahead.
I don't mean to chime in, but I wanted to make an announcement.
Yes.
Sure. March 12th, because I produced the Running Late Show with Scott Rogowski.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
March 12th, Gramercy Theater, Dan Rather and Michael Ian Black.
Whoa.
That's Scott Rogowski. We're in the midst of blowing up. His Running Late Show has always booked amazing guests.
Dan Rather, part of the
now
Resistance.
Now he's got Dan Rather.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yes. Gonna find out.
Call me when you book Sam Donaldson.
Dan Rather has some documents. Dan Rather plays HQ. Wow. Amazing.
I'd be excited if he had Sam Donaldson.
Yeah.
We'll just wait till we get a score.
Sam Donaldson's still alive?
I believe so.
Ted
Koppel.
Give us our busybody of the week.
Our busybody of the week, one of my personal favorite episodes we've ever done. A couple weeks ago, we had Alex Delaney from Bon Appetit. He told us about eating 16 cheesesteaks in 12 hours. And I shouted out my uncle Bruce, who's a cheesesteak devotee. And so Bruce wrote, "Hey, thanks for the shout out at the 32-minute mark. And good job recommending Chick's Deli, true hidden gem. That's Chick's Deli in Cherry Hill that I shouted out at the end of that podcast. So shout out to my Uncle Bruce who enjoys a few good many cheesesteaks.
I love the specific saying, thanks for the shout out at the 32-minute mark.
He's very specific.
Because it
he's very
makes it
precise.
clear. It's not like, hey, I'm going to check that out. Those are the comments where you're like,
he
you're
specifically
not gonna listen to
listened.
that. Yeah.
So he is our busybody of the week, Uncle
Great.
Bruce, down there in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Sam Donaldson is still alive. Checked it while you were talking about that.
You're very quick, man.
We got to get to our guests.
Let's do it.
But quickly.
Yeah, what's going on with you?
We're
wearing matching hoodies.
We are wearing hoodies. What I've been busy with, I got pink eye.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we had to
I used to get it every summer.
Every summer?
At camp.
Wow.
When your mom was the nurse.
That's right.
And she pluralized my name.
I had it once as a kid. Never had it again. And then over Christmas, my son got pink eye. And then a couple of weeks later, my wife got it.
That's the recipe.
I got it the worst of the three. I got it in both eyes to the point where I looked like I had been in a heavyweight boxing match with Floyd McGregor. They're both red, puffy, swollen. I had to call in sick from work. I worked from home one day. Woke up at 4 a.m.
You know what's bad if you call in from work, Mister. I love going to the office.
I never
I know.
call. I did work from home. I could have just rested all day, but I did have to take a nap in the middle of the. I woke up at 4 a.m. My eyes were crusted shut. It was so nasty.
I was going to ask you.
They were red and puffy all day. Blah blah blah. The next day, I actually felt better. They still looked a little bit red, puffy, better. And
like Bob Costas at the Olympics.
Exactly. I was on my way into work, and I got a text that said, "Stay home. Do not come in.
Yeah,
do not."
That's a responsible office manager.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Also
you're like, I have an eye patch.
I'm in meetings with on-air personalities, and you don't want them catching. Of course. So I worked from home 2 days. Very productive, actually. Yeah. But I don't recommend it. It's not fun.
You had the hard crusties keeping your eyelid connected to the bottom of your eye?
Yes, and never have a 2-year-old because you'll catch everything.
Yeah.
You'll catch every single thing that they get at school.
Now, did you do drops or did you take?
I did. Well, this was the best
medicine.
part was that everybody in my family had already had it, so we had the drops on hand, so didn't have to go to a doctor, didn't have to go to a pharmacy, just had the prescription ready. Was taking drops, and
I literally got it every summer. I went to camp.
So crazy in both eyes or.
It would be one eye, both eyes, whatever.
Yeah,
that was
nasty.
Whatever sickness was going around camp, it always manifested in me as pink eye.
Well, also there were a lot of farting on people's pillows.
Yeah,
as a prank,
I was pretty dirty.
Yeah,
I was a pretty dirty kid. But there was fly paper over your bed.
Yeah, it was nasty.
Fly poop.
It was not fun. I don't recommend it, and people should not get pink eye.
Well, speaking of pink eye, no, that's a terrible transition.
Yeah, no, let's take a quick break, and then we'll introduce our guest.
Has beautiful eyes.
Okay.
Hey, for you, the listeners of the Sorry I've Been So Busy podcast, Warby Parker is offering a free 5-day home try-on to give you the opportunity to check out their glasses. I was in L.A., I would say 2 years ago, and I was walking on Abbot Kinney, and I popped in the Warby Parker store, and I found a fantastic pair of sunglasses I still use today. Sunglasses rarely ever fit me well. I have a very small head. They fit them to perfection on my face. And the thing I love about Warby Parker, you can walk into any of their stores at any time, and they'll readjust your glasses for no cost. And you kind of always can tell when somebody's wearing Warby Parkers. They're very stylish. To get your home try-on today, go to warbyparkertrial.com/SIBSB. Again, that's warbyparkertrial.com/SIBSB for your free 5-day home try-on.
And we're back. We're very excited to have this guy. Very special person in my life. Here's why. First podcast I was ever a guest on was his podcast.
Wow.
And a guy that I, when I was starting out doing comedy, was somebody that I looked up to and would see at shows all the time and was like, that guy, if I could have a career like that guy, I'd be super excited. Or an act as good as that guy. Jon Fisch is here, everybody.
The Fisch so nice.
Yeah.
First of all, first of all, thank you. I said it, but I just want to say thank you. I love your act as well. You know, you have one of my all-time favorite jokes.
Yeah, well,
Which joke? We get this a lot.
It's the one that everybody says. It's the same one that everybody... No offense. I don't want to make you feel like you're not...
but I
Willie?
quote it.
Yeah.
And I love it. Also, I have been telling people your well, I'm going to give away the punchline by
Sure.
saying it, but the podcast joke from your set.
Yes, on
TV
set.
set?
Yeah. That was good.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
So
okay.
good.
And then I
but
know what
just
you're
wanna
going to say. Yeah.
I'm wearing a sweatshirt.
Yeah.
We're so Jewy here. We got
we're
gold
all-
and gold.
all hood.
Summer camp, conjunctivitis all the time.
All the time.
Dad's an optometrist, so I was like, I always.
You got the nice
I went to
glasses
camp
on?
with the. Remember, you
Shout
had
out to
the
Warby
goop?
Parker. Yeah.
No, banana. What do you call it? The other B. Nope, not even. Ray-Ban.
Pearl Vision. Ray-Ban.
Ray-Ban.
There was a
Okay.
B in there.
All right.
Transition. Did I freak you out when I came in and they were sunglasses?
Little bit.
Yeah. That happens.
No, but I know what you're going to say because you mentioned it on your podcast 10 years ago. It's the dreams for the nightmares. Yeah. So that's
It's unbelievable.
It was at
Great.
that was my opener / closer for a long time. That joke. Yeah, I remember. Sorry, go ahead. No, please.
And the other thing I thought you would bring up is the Passover thing.
Oh yes! Wow. So we once ran into each other at a show, and it was like, I remember it was it like Red Room? Was that what it was called or something? It was Lori Pearlstein ran a show. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And we would we were the two people that were doing comedy on Passover, but still keeping it. Mm-hmm. And you came in with like a salad or something, right? Is this tuna fish?
Yeah. But it was like, because like, yeah, I guess.
And matzah tam crackers.
No, just tuna fish. And like, he and I think we both had that moment where it was like, we're the only ones that are keeping it.
Right.
But should we?
Yeah. Is it even? What's the point of this? Yeah.
Because I stopped after a few years of doing that stuff.
The joke that I remember, this is like, okay, I was trying to remember my favorite Jon Fisch jokes, and there were many of them, but the one that came to mind this morning when I was on my way in was, everyone does laundry in a different way, and it's like, I saw this girl and she was washing her sheets, and I was like, "What are you moving?" Was that one of your big jokes, or was that like a one-time thing?
That was the second part of a joke that I thought you were going to say. That is the only joke that anyone's ever, like a headliner when I was starting out, came up to me and asked me if they could buy it.
Oh,
which
really?
Was, laundry freaks me out because I just realized unless you do it naked, you are never totally done.
Yeah.
And then I did the other one after, which I always liked.
Yeah.
Too, but
what are you moving?
Yeah.
Because that's such a 20s single guy thought of like, who washes their sheets?
Yeah.
It was actually to my parents. I remember like they were washing their sheets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I wasn't going to say
I just
that
think
in
it's
the joke.
funny imagining you two in a club right at like around Passover going up to people who are drinking wine being like, can I stick my pinky in that wine for 10 times, please?
Did I tell this on... Did I tell this on the podcast that I was at my album recording last year and I was like hiding in the kitchen?
Yeah.
And
You've told this on the podcast, but please retell it.
And
I love
that
this.
I overheard some of the wait staff, one of the wait staff saying to the other, do you know if Stoli is it Stoli? It was like, do you know if Stoli is potato vodka or something? And I was like, this is my crowd. It was. I was like, this could not be more my crowd that's here to see me.
Checking on the gluten, aspects
Yes.
of alcohol.
No. It was Passover. It was
Passover,
kosher for
right.
Passover. Yeah. So you had probably the first. I mean, okay. So podcast. When did podcasts first start? Like
The mid-50s?
I remember who was doing
McCarthyism.
them. My dad actually was like, you should do one of these.
Your dad had heard podcasts?
Yeah.
This was like 2009, I want to say.
Yeah, I think maybe this might have even been 07, 08.
He was a
where it
huge
was
Guys
happening.
We Fucked fan.
Yes.
And he was like, you got to get into this.
I didn't know anybody that had one. I had
Burr might have
I had maybe
one.
heard a couple from LA, like, Never Not Funny or
Robert Kelly had one here.
Comedy Bang Bang or something.
But he just did on his phone.
Yeah, and then like you asked me to do yours, and you were the first person I knew who had one, and then it was the first one I did. It was called In the Tank with Johnny Fish,
You got it.
and it was you, Dan Allen, and Dan Shackey.
You got it.
And you had a theme song.
Oh, yeah.
Who did the theme
Mark
song?
Douglas.
Oh, I love
from,
Mark Douglas.
Yeah.
I worked with Mark.
He is great.
And I remember coming to your, was it your place?
Yep.
In Astoria. And we sat
place.
around your kitchen table,
Yep.
and we recorded an episode.
Yeah. With a snowball microphone,
Were
probably.
were you one of the first people you knew that had one?
I think I was one of the first ones in New York. Yeah, there was probably just a handful. I think Maron even started his like shortly after
Yeah.
mine. Yeah.
Now, I might be wrong, but now all of Queens it's just podcast studios.
Yeah.
I believe. I think all of Queens, every building.
What made you decide? Do you remember?
I kind of do, because Sirius XM had been starting to get popular as well, and I thought that I would do an interview show. I told my manager, I remember at the beer garden, it was Dan Allen's birthday, and we were there, and I was talking to him about it, and I had talked to a couple people, and he was like, people don't want to listen to that. Yeah. My idea was that, you know, at that time, there were a lot of celebrity comedian interviews, like those, you know, there'd be like these CDs with interview series of like Shandling. I think it was David, blanking on his last name.
There was a Seinfeld one.
Yes, Seinfeld.
David Steinberg.
Yes, David Steinberg. You know, Shandling. And so my thought was that like anybody that's been doing comedy for a little bit has some story to tell or some nugget of wisdom.
Yeah.
Let's get that from each person.
Right.
And it would be for fans of the comic and fans of comedy.
And now it's like the biggest thing.
It's the only thing.
Yeah. But you had some great people.
We had some amazing guests. We had, let's see, Kurt Metzger, Lori Kilmartin, you, Hannibal Buress, Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
I mean, Baron Vaughn.
And they all came over your apartment?
They all came over to my apartment. No, we did a couple. Like I did one with Rick Jenkins at the Comedy Studio, like in the Comedy Studio in Boston. I did one with Justin McKinney before a show that we were doing in New Hampshire. Right. I did one with Jamie Lissow up in a hotel when I was working in Rochester when he lived up there doing radio. We did some at Comics.
Yeah.
At Ochi's Lounge. We did a couple at the Cellar.
Can you still find them? Are they still available?
Yes. Here's the thing. I put them up on SoundCloud and then put it over to iTunes. And then since I stopped uploading them, I downgraded my subscription. But for some reason, that made it so I could only like the last 10 are available. So I had to like upgrade again. So they all are there. But it is on iTunes.
And then did you take a long break from that?
We took even breaks in between. Like we kind of had like seasons and stuff.
Well, Passover.
Passover, of course.
You're very observant.
But if you notice, like the first season is a lot, the second season, the third season, and then the fourth season is like 3 episodes, and the fifth is like 1.
I got shit to do.
Yeah.
I remember when I did, it came up. I don't know if you ever listened when I did You Made It Weird, but I was like, I told Pete this is only the second podcast I've ever done. The first one was In the Tank with Johnny Fish.
No, I didn't.
And I honestly think that he brought up to me. I don't even think I realized Fish Tank, like the connection there.
I love
it. Came
it.
up on that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I think I had done the podcast and not even realized.
Welcome to the tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very morning radio.
Transparent took me a season and a half.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. That's a pun on 3 levels.
Yeah. So
someone pointed out, like recently, I saw on Twitter. Like, they didn't even realize that the Beatles was a pun, like beat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that there was, like, the beat. You know, like, that even that
You're
was, like,
blowing
a thing.
Fish's mind.
Yeah, I know,
right?
right? Like, yeah. There's things that are so obvious. I may have talked about this before, too, on here. I apologize. But, Major Dad, the show Major Dad, it sounds like should be a pun, like, but it's not.
It's not.
It's just he's a dad and he's a major. It's just very straightforward. There's nothing clever about it.
Which is why it's clever.
Yeah, I guess so.
I always laughed at the store in New York, Shoegasm.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to make... It's not even a pun, really,
nope,
at
doesn't
all.
sound like... But
it like, sounds like it is, and it's like... I get it. Somebody brought it up in a meeting, and they're like, that's hilarious. But you don't need to... that's not the image I want when I'm shopping for shoes.
I know. It's not like you're selling oars.
Like,
if you're selling oars...
That's like when they named Cougar Town. Remember, they named it, and then after, for the rest of their run, I think they were trying to get it to change.
Yeah, it was like a joke name that they came... It's like a placeholder.
It wasn't even about cougars.
No. Are you back podcasting now with a different podcast?
I started a new... I tried to do one a couple years ago that would have been just a season with a goal with my friend Kendra Cunningham.
Unlike ours, no goal.
Yeah.
It was called It's Not You, It's Us. And or It's Not Us, It's You.
You created This Is Us?
Yes.
No, I wish. And it was about like why, because we were two people that constantly are single, but people would always be like, how are you single? Why are you single? So we were trying to figure that out, and we got about 5 episodes in.
Yeah.
And
but then you have another new one.
Now I have Spiraling Up.
And this is just you.
Just me and a guest.
Nice.
Yes.
At your apartment?
At my apartment once again.
Is there an idea behind it? Or
The idea is that it's spiraling up. So I talk to people about handling like daily struggles and getting out of life's major ruts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And of course, I feel like, now there are so many, as we just said, like comedian interview shows. You need like
You do need
your
a hook,
twist.
and yet we don't have it. No, we sort of do. We sort of
A little bit.
Yeah. But this was the other thing I was saying. So, like, when I was starting out, I mean, I mostly did, like, I would say, non-comedy clubs, just because that was, like, where I could get on stage. And I would see you at those shows, by the way. I would see you a lot
do
at,
it
like,
all.
Luna, like, different shows and different bars, blah, blah, blah. But then one of the only clubs I ever really got into with any sort of semi-regularity was the Comic Strip. And you were a big regular there. You were
my first
performing
club.
there a ton. It was
first
like
club.
you, Moody, McCarthy, Andy at the time, Vastola,
Right.
now Andy Pitts. And there was like a group of you who were there like pretty much, I would say almost not every, was it every night or?
No, I mean, when there was probably a time where I was there like 3 times a week or something.
Yeah. And that was like, that was a big deal to get into the comedy.
It was great.
Yeah.
I actually just I'm going through my apartment. I'm doing a Japanese art of tidying.
Yeah.
With that Fruit Loop Maria.
It's
Kondo.
Sparks Joy, whatever Sparks Joy, that thing. Yeah.
And I found a picture with me and Lucian.
Oh, yeah.
It's
That guy
great.
was creepy.
Well, he was. I mean, he was a legiondary figure.
He's
but
an eccentric man,
yes,
yeah.
anybody who can be described as legendary is also generally eccentric. Yeah.
But he was the gatekeeper.
He was the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
He literally built that club. He built the bar.
Right.
Yeah, and he was a really interesting man, and I guess I liked him a lot, but people later told me that I met him more in his latter years when he was softening more. He was a little more direct and rude to some people, but I really liked him.
I had a great the night that I auditioned there. Rena Zager was auditioning the same
Rena.
night, and she started like a joke or two, and just started bombing horribly, and turned on the audience, and then they started to laugh because they were. I was like, it was the funniest thing because it was an audition, and usually when you do an audition, you're sort of like, I'm going to stick to my 5 minutes. She started really just spiraling and just lashing out at the audience, and it was hilarious. And I remember she said after that the guy that Lucian told her that was a great character, and she's like, that was not a character, that was me. Like that was fully,
Really, because her comedy usually points at her.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome.
That's epic.
Anyone named Lucian is going to be a character.
Yeah,
just
no,
right off the
There's never
bat.
been
He was just sitting on that.
Yeah. Do you still go up there? Because I heard since the Seinfeld special, it's been really good.
Well, since the Seinfeld special, he moved the whole scene, I guess, like one shift to the right, and how it originally was. I don't know how many.
Right, he redid the room.
Redid the room to back how it was when he was there.
Yeah.
And they left it like that, and it's definitely kind of cooler and nice vibe. And
I have to go back because someone told me, I haven't been there many, many years, and someone told me recently that my picture is still on the wall.
Oh,
Last
yeah.
time they were there, they were like, your picture is still on the wall. I was like, okay.
I used to live a block away,
okay.
and it was fun. They were like the club that had the screen outside. They had like the TV screen so you could
Still
see who
do.
was on stage, which I always thought was such a great idea.
Yeah.
Because you could walk by and be like, I'll buy a ticket. I
Yeah.
want to get in there and see, whomever.
Yeah.
I always
Still
thought
got
it
it.
was cool.
I used to like it because there was, back in the early days of me being gluten-free, there was one of the few, a diner that had a full gluten-free menu. So I would go, put my name down, go get dinner, and then come back. Or
He's
something.
got it all figured out,
Pioneer
this
of
guy.
gluten-free.
Yeah.
It was called Peter's Gourmet Diner. It was up there.
all right.
Yeah.
Shout out to Peters.
I'm trying recently.
Here
shout
comes
out
the
to
catering
Peters. It's now
tray from
closed.
Peters.
Now closed. Yeah. I'm trying to now get back into that whole. Are you still pounding the pavement club to club around the city or?
I don't know. I'm kind of getting older where I enjoy staying in one place for the
Yeah.
night. But yeah, I'll do. I like to do 2 sets a night during the week, and on the weekend, I'll do more. Or if I'm hosting somewhere else, I can stay in one place. But yeah.
That is a thing where it's you notice those younger guys or younger people will get in here and they're like, I don't care if there's any rhyme or reason to it. Like, I'll Uber from this to this to this.
Yeah,
to this,
yeah,
to
yeah.
zigzag
Like
all over
Suba was here. She's like, I'll do any show, anywhere,
Yeah.
at any time.
Yeah.
But that was always Suba. Suba would do
Yeah.
she would do like 5 mics a night when she first started.
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
It's like Mike Lawrence, too. And you're at the Cellar as well?
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Cellar's great.
I like
It's
what
like
they've done there, that they've like really
Like 3 rooms?
yeah, there's 3 rooms now.
Crazy.
And
It is
One is an
absolutely
escape
crazy.
room, which I thought is weird. You have to sit through awful comedy while trying to escape. No.
I've done, what's the one that's in the, like, you go in the
Village
bar
Underground?
and then to the left.
Fat Black Pussycat Lounge.
That's the one I've done.
Watch your
a
language.
couple times. Yeah, and it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, they have enough business now where it's like it's such a brand name where it's like,
The
why not
Cellar
expand?
owns that part of like NYU, West Village, Bleecker Street. You know that whole. It's like 3 clubs. It's
And
their
I believe
corner.
it was. Don't quote me on this, but I believe it was in response that they opened the Underground to because there were people barking on their block
Right.
and getting their spillover.
Yeah.
And the owner was just like, "Well, I'm going to get my spillover."
Well, and then the other thing about it is, and I don't know,
Straight up turf war.
I don't know anything about their ownership or business strategy or anything, but like the one thing about the Cellar that you could always count on was like, as a comedian, it was very, very hard to get in, to get on stage there, and as an audience member, you knew you were going to get a good show because it was so hard to get in. It was such a tough nut to crack that the level of comedian, you know. And
It's literally selling out before the
Yeah.
days in advance, sometimes before the roster is announced.
But now there's so many comedians that there are so many more good comedians that it's like, yeah, you can fill 3 rooms with like good quality of like the same quality that as the old Cellar could. Like, that's kind of my take on it. I don't know, right?
Yeah, it's and also, you know, people bounce back and forth more easily when it's all on the same block. Mm-hmm. And the other thing with Fat Black now is we get to do long sets there.
Right.
On Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Monday and Thursday, Will Sylvince started a new joke night just for us.
Yeah.
So we can literally just do open mic for us with a crowd.
And it's called that, so the crowd knows what they're getting into it. Yeah.
It's
awesome.
It's awesome.
I think, you know, look, Louis used the facade on however many episodes, and then Pete's show came along and used the facade, and those things matter.
Yeah,
And
I
now
think
it's-
Louis really pushed it over the edge. I mean, it was always great
Yeah.
and it was selling out and stuff, but I think Louis really
course.
pushed it over the edge.
Yeah, I mean, literally, the title of the show, he's walking into the Comedy Cellar,
Yeah.
and that show was huge.
I wonder, did it help the pizza place or did it hurt? Which pizza place is it?
Ben's.
on the
yeah.
corner.
I mean, I used to go
I
there a
had
lot just
many-
because I lived right
so
in that
many.
neighborhood. It's not like it's the best pizza, but it's like the most.
At the time,
It's like the
in
most
my
present.
20s, it
It's
was
the most
best
present pizza.
It's my favorite until 10 p.m. I think they used crappier cheese later.
Oh,
Right.
really?
For
For
the
the drunk people?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That they would actually
10 p.m. Do you know where your
make
pizza
that
is?
conscious decision.
Maybe 11.
Maybe. Yeah.
And then the restaurant upstairs, obviously, with the comedian's table.
Yeah, it's just a cool vibe, and it's like,
Yeah.
and then there's the general hubbub of like, oh, Amy Schumer was there last night. Oh,
Yeah.
Chris Rock was there last night.
yeah.
Chappelle was there until 4 a.m.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, like I said, I've done that other room, and it's like, there's like the junior comedians table there, and it's like, I never got in there. That's fine. I don't need to like be part of it, but it's nice to like feel like it's nice that it's like a little bit more like
lower
widening.
small lower
Yeah.
chairs.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I'll say this,
Somebody
too.
cuts up your food for you. Yeah.
Shoots and ladders.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They do everything right.
Yeah.
Like I've told this before, but I host a lot, and when you're hosting, there's still kind of seating the standby people, and so you're asking where people are from. But as soon as everybody's settled in, you do some jokes before you warm up the crowd and bring up the first comic, and then. But one night there was a drunk person in the corner that didn't get that was what was happening and was still kind of trying to engage. And I just made a mental note, like, go tell that guy, like, this part's over. Pipe down. I get off stage. I go over. He's gone. They didn't kick him out or anything. He was just, the manager had him in the hallway just explaining to him exactly what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Like,
They're on
like
top
that.
of it.
Yeah, they have security guards. Even that Fat Black Pussycat Lounge, like, they kept tweaking it until it was the best room possible. Like, there was that VIP room up when you walk in right up to the right. That's now balcony seating.
Yeah.
You know, the seats were weird.
Yeah.
That they had for them. They got new seats.
Tough to
the balcony.
I will say, I did have a few times. The comedians, I guess, there do not generally watch the show, so I had a hard time figuring out where to stand because I was always in the way. And then eventually they told me to sit on the stairs.
Yeah.
But I was like, it is such a fascinating thing where it's like, as a comedian, you want to support and watch the show. You're curious about this guy. You've never seen him before. You also want to hang out with the other comedians and talk. But it seems to be trending away from people watching other people's sets.
I always thought that was a New York thing kind of vibe because it's like you had your set time. So you knew what time to go for your set. It was even built into like when you got your show. It wasn't like, it's an 8:30 show. Come on, guy. We'll get you up.
Yeah.
It was like, you're on at 8:50.
Yeah.
And also, like at the Comic Strip or Stand Up New York, for instance, there's like a bar area and then another room where the comedy show is.
Yeah.
It's not like conducive for you to
unless
it's not packed.
I'm not, generally people are popping around from thing to thing. I don't like to hang out too long, but I sometimes like to watch like one or two people after me just to check out
To heckle?
Yeah, to heckle. Yeah,
I also wanted to bring up that
huge heckler.
You're from Boston.
Yes.
And obviously Boston has produced lots of great comedians, and they're all sort of, is there like do you feel like that's a fraternity a bit? Obviously the ages range, there's like Dennis Leary and the Patrice crowd and Dane Cook and Burr.
Gallman.
Yeah, it's insane. But is Boston the same way where like you can hit club to club to club, or is it if you get in at a club you like stick there for the night?
Well, it has changed, and I haven't been
Boston,
there.
you can get around.
You could get around, but there is like a lot of shifts that have happened over the years because when I was there, there was a 7-night-a-week club in Faneuil Hall, and then the Comedy Studio, which was like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the Comedy Vault, which always had a Sunday.
Nothing gets out of there.
Yeah.
But now that Faneuil Hall room is closed.
Wow.
The Dick Doherty Comedy Vault is closed. The Comedy Studio is actually moving. So it's a different game. But I remember when I would first come home, like, the stage time wasn't so great here that what we were doing. Sometimes we would do bar shows that didn't end up happening.
Yeah.
There was no audience member and no audience members. So I would go home on the weekends, do some work, and then Sunday night, to your question, I would go to all three of those rooms.
Right.
But the only reason I could get on is because I was in from out of town.
And when you were starting out in Boston, were some of those guys still frequenting?
Gallman and Dwayne Perkins, who's an LA guy. You know Dwayne, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Those were the two guys that were like 3 years ahead of me.
Right.
Like that were like doing great things. Burr was gone. Patrice was gone. Dane was way gone. Dane was coming back to headline.
Sure.
Who else?
Eugene Merman?
Eugene moved about a year ahead of me here. Patrick.
Borelli,
Jen Kirkman. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that crew.
So
many.
interesting.
Yeah.
Just right ahead of me.
Boston's such a great comedy city.
Yeah, Eugene was like on another planet with what he was doing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But Patrick, I just always loved too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
He would always do work.
And he's at Fallon now.
It's also
Jen Kirkman had this. I don't know if she ever did it when she moved to New York, but she had this Blues Brothers bit that I knew was so good because she can I swear?
Sure.
She would
You've already
shit on
said
Blues
Black
Brothers.
Pussycat.
I think she would shit on Blues Brothers, but it was like a Blues Brothers was like a movie that was like near and dear to me.
Yeah.
My buddy like was so into it.
Yeah.
He bought his a cop car from an auction.
Wow.
Like when we would go out, he'd have to open the door for us to get out in the back and stuff. And I still loved her bit.
Yeah. You want someone to have a take or an opinion on something, so that's good. She's great. What? Give us this is the part of the show where we talk about
get
someone's
into your
day.
day.
We go through
All
someone's day. Was there a particular day this week that you want to get into?
Well, I had two, so I'll throw it out to you. If you want to stick with the theme of getting sick, I got that stomach bug last week.
We've never done a sick day.
Canceled work, and then otherwise, I on the tail end of that had a weekend at a golf resort. I had a show at a comedy weekend, and it was like the first time I brought a girlfriend or this.
You make the
girlfriend.
call. You want to do the sick day?
Was the sick day just you in bed?
Well, there was a canceling thing, and
Well, yeah, I actually would like to get into the nitty gritty of the canceling and the what goes into the decision to cancel. Like I kind of feel like
it's an extended blow off.
start with that.
So let's talk about it.
Okay.
So when did you start to feel sick?
Well, I had blood
It's brought
work.
to you by WebMD podcast.
I had blood work in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I have high triglycerides, and I have to get my blood work done every 3 to 6 months.
So you wake up.
I wake up.
What time?
The appointment's at 11. I get up at like 10, 10:30.
Okay.
And I'm about to leave, and I feel a little off. I'm like, oh, that's weird.
Do you have any coffee?
No.
Food?
No.
Shower?
No food because it's fasting.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, but that's not like that's not a fasting pain is
Yeah.
what I had. You know, and plus it was like I ate at like 10:30, 11 at night, and I'm just waking up.
Yeah.
You know. And so I walk over, and I'm feeling a little slow. I asked if I should get a flu shot. I told them I was traveling the next day. They said probably not. So I just got the blood taken, and I'm walking a little slow out of there. And I go to the coffee shop to get some juice and a bagel, and I can't eat the whole bagel.
And a bagel's very plain.
I got a French toast bagel with just butter.
Yeah.
And I drank the orange juice, and there was Lori Palmatero was there. And I said hello, but I remember saying to her, like, I feel a little weak. I just had some blood drawn. I'll be okay.
Yeah.
But I was shuffling home.
Where are you supposed to go the next day?
The next day, I'm going to flying into Richmond, Virginia for shows in Williamsburg.
Okay.
Yeah. So it starts just kind of coming over me, and then I realize, I was just at Moody McCarthy's on Tuesday night, 2 days beforehand.
Yeah.
His kids gave him the stomach
Oh,
bug.
boy.
Yeah. And so I had it. And I never puked all day. I didn't puke. I just felt like,
Yeah.
And
So you get in bed.
Yeah, get in bed. I'm just sort of like, I'm there. I'm just trying to like, I'm not eating. I'm not even like shitting it out or anything. No diarrhea.
Yeah.
Just nauseous all
Yeah.
day and queasy. And then so I take a nap, and then I wake up, and I'm like, oh, I think I feel a little better. I had some ginger ale.
Was it like a sweaty nap? You know, like when you're sick, you take a nap and
Yes.
you wake up and you're just drenched?
I made a note to wash all those sheets, you know, as soon as...
What are you
What are you
moving?
moving? Yeah.
So it's about 6. I'm like, all right, I'm going
And
to
you're
go
supposed
in.
to have shows this night,
I'm
tonight.
supposed to host the Village Underground.
Okay.
That's the cellar downstairs room, below the Fat Black Pussycat.
Yes.
And so I'm like, all right. And then my thought was like, maybe I get in there and someone else can host for me, and I can do a set.
And
Because I could pull off.
Get
a
in and
set.
get out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I look at the roster, and there's no one that really hosts that much. But I did look to see if there were other people on rosters around, like that would.
I love that
be
you
able to
have
host.
this kind of cachet and this kind of pull to sort of like rejigger the lineup.
You're like
Oh,
a
no.
You're
I
like
would
a
have to
baseball
ask.
manager
Yeah.
at this point.
There would have to be permission granted.
Right, okay.
But I didn't want to have them get somebody.
Right.
So last minute, it was like 5, 6 o'clock at this point. And so I head in, I get on the subway. I got some Gatorade on the walk to the subway, and I walk up the stairs of the subway, and I'm like out of breath. I'm sitting down on the subway and holding myself up. Like that, it just felt
What flavor
weird.
Gatorade?
I went
Red?
traditional yellow.
Yellow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm a yellow or orange, but for this, I remember thinking,
Really? I like the
stay
red.
true.
I like the red.
Red.
It's on your mouth, and you look like a little kid.
How about the blue, like ice?
My brother's big on the blue.
Yeah.
So I'm Lexington Avenue is the first stop in Manhattan for me. I'm all the way out at the last stop at Ditmars in Astoria. So I get to about Lexington, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be tough.
Yeah.
So I text the general manager, and I'm like, hey, I'm on my way in if you can't, but it would be great if we could get someone to fill in for me to host. And she was like, oh, and I just waited, and then I got to 34th where I was going to have to change for the F to go down
Yeah.
or turn back around.
Yeah.
And I hadn't heard from her, so I called her, and she was just like, "Go home. Don't worry about it. You need to, get healthy or whatever."
Yeah.
And thank God she did.
What? How often do you cancel anything?
Never canceled.
Have you ever canceled a show before for any reason?
I mean, I can't remember. I said to somebody, like, I can't remember the last time that I canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you must have been pretty sick.
Yeah.
This is how you know you don't have kids, because otherwise you'd be sick every 6 months with something that would cause you to cancel a show. Yeah.
Every time I go home and visit my nieces in Boston, I come back with something.
How did it affect your triglycerides?
You know what? I found out days later, though, that this is my triglycerides are totally good. All my cholesterol is totally good.
When you walked in, I said, that guy's got great triglycerides.
So,
I said, one thing I know about this guy, Jon Fisch, amazing triglycerides.
So I turn around and hop on the end back home.
you took the subway back home. At that point, I would have been in a cab.
Well, I was in there already, and I thought about it, but I was just like, this is going to be the easiest. You just hop on it. And it's easy.
Kept making all the stops. They kept ringing the bell.
And I find that, especially that hour, is like 7 o'clock. It's going to be quicker to take the subway.
Yeah, and then that ride home, you're just like...
I got to Lexington Avenue, and we're coming out, and so we're going back up out of the tunnel, and everything. All the stops in Astoria are above ground, and I remember it's that's probably the longest between stops, like and you're going, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, oh, wait a second, I might puke.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm looking like, does anyone have like a bag that they could give me? You know, it's a pretty crowded subway, but not enough so that anyone was sitting right next to me.
Right.
Yeah.
But that might have just, like when you're
But
like...
because it's above ground, the doors could open, you could puke, doors could close, and be on your way.
Yeah. I didn't get to that. I stood up and puked into the Gatorade bottle. Wow. Mostly.
Yeah, there's no way. That's
Got
a small open.
Yeah, got a little bit on the ground. Doors open. I get out, get to the...
Leave the Gatorade bottle.
Leave the Gatorade bottle for sure, and just emptied out for I don't know.
Garbage
It felt
can?
like 10 minutes. I didn't even make it to a garbage can.
Just on the platform.
But it was above ground at least.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know what? They've done enough shit to me.
Listen,
I'm okay
yeah.
with giving them a little vomit back.
You expect some vomit on the platform.
Well, it just goes to show. I mean, like, you see a guy vomiting on the platform. Could be a homeless person. Could be a drug addict. Could be a drunk person. Could just be a guy who's having a bad day.
Or a
Could just
sick
be-
comedian.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
I had to wait. I waited 4 7 trains because it's right where 7 also goes.
Oh, waiting.
Before the end came, freezing out there, just like vomit dripping down
man.
off me.
Terrible. And thought to be like, you know what? I guess it's hard. There's no cabs flying by.
I was like above, it
I
was
get it.
so just.
are you too nauseous to even like look at your phone to like distract yourself? Or are you just like staring into space, kind of like?
After I vomited?
Yeah. Or did you feel better after you vomited?
I felt better. I was like, oh, this is great. I actually
Puke
did
and
look
rally.
at the thing like, I wonder if I can get back in time.
Oh my god. It's so.
You know what? I think I could do the shows.
Yeah.
But
Call her
luckily
up.
I didn't because I was
Yeah.
not done.
So
I was done vomiting, but I was not done feeling awful.
So you go home.
Go home, clean up the best I can, like organize like the stuff that I'm going to have to clean later.
Yes, that's smart. Yeah.
Left my scarf in the hallway outside my apartment.
Yeah.
The scarf here has been washed twice.
Nice.
Thanks for bringing the vomit scarf to the
It's a
podcast.
wash. So
Much appreciated.
Now, here's my question:
Yes.
When is your flight the next day to Virginia?
My flight is at 12:05, and my girlfriend is coming with me, and she's like someone who wants to get there early. She originally wanted to go at like 10.
Yeah.
She was like,
Have you given any thought to canceling the trip at this point, or you know?
no, because in my head, I knew it was a 24-hour bug, and I had talked to Moody and Moody's wife, so I knew that it really did last him about 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like, I texted him the next day before I had it. I was like, how you doing? He's like, I'm good, not 100, but if it was a game tonight, I could play. You know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, all I have to do is get there, and I didn't have a show Friday night.
Oh,
It was a show.
So you have a free night in a city in a hotel room. That's
Yes.
perfect for
Yes.
recuperating.
So...
And your girl was good bedside manner?
She came over in the morning. I hadn't been able to pack or anything, but I got a lot of sleep. Got up at like 9, was able to mostly pack. She came over, like did the dishes and like got like the last odds and ends that I
Right.
needed to get packed and really helped me out. And then and we made it and stuff. And when we got off the plane, I felt a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Why were you going Friday night for the show
I was doing
Saturday?
a resort show that
Yeah.
I had never done before, a comedy weekend.
They want to
Yeah.
get you in.
And they want you there for the whole weekend. You,
well,
of course,
Shabbos
didn't have
services
to.
start. They need you for the minion.
They if you made a stink, of course they'd be okay with it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
also a lot of people come from the West Coast, and sure enough, Saturday someone didn't make it in.
At this golf resort,
Yeah.
did you see Stormy Daniels?
No.
She was not there. Okay, just checking for the record. I once wrote an MTV New Year's, which you're in at 8 in.the morning because you can't leave because Times Square is filled with people. And I was sick as a dog, and I pushed through, and I'm in the control room sweating, and I have a fever, and I have like the chills, and I'm shaking, and we're getting through the show, and it's a whole full 16-hour workday. Ball drops. And then getting home was impossible because you got to weed through the people. There's no subway. It was like the worst. That's the flashbacks came because I'm like I have to get on the subway because there's no cabs.
Yeah.
Then getting on the subway, I'm waiting there and I'm sick I'm like chilly. It was an awful experience when you have to be doing something and you're sick, actually sick, not just feeling bad. It's terrible. It's a really helpless feeling.
Because mostly I've been able to just go on cold medicine and adrenaline when I have been sick. I mean, I had weeks where I've been in bed or on stage.
Yeah.
Alaska, Ottawa, these long weeks where I was in bed or on stage.
Yeah.
I've been so sick.
Do you feel like the microphone breeds back
The microphone,
spreading
the constant shaking hands of audience members, or even just when you get introduced to the stage.
I can usually fight through anything. The one thing you can't fight through is when you lose your voice.
I had borderline laryngitis. I still had a little bit, and I was able to do that. My friend Ashley Morris, she's an actress too, so she had a lot of good ideas. She gave me 3 ideas, and the one that was great for me was throat coat tea.
Yeah.
Throat coat tea and adrenaline got me through.
Have you ever, though, been on stage and you're just I'm done, I can't talk anymore?
I have a huge fear of that.
Yeah.
So I always bring water, even for a 5-minute set.
Yeah.
I stopped eating almonds before shows
Oh,
because
really?
those get caught.
Oh, I
I'm
didn't
all
know that.
cashew now.
I love the way you say cashew.
Huge comedy rule. No almonds, just cashews.
We're learning so much insider knowledge. This is great. We have a few minutes left. Did you have anything else you want to ask John before we get to the blow off?
Continue.
We usually end by asking the guest to tell us about a time recently when you blew somebody off and how you did it, or if you have a go-to blow.
I mean, that whole story was basically a version of a blow off.
This
whole story.
Well, see, now I feel like it was merited.
It was merited.
I want to
for
hear
sure.
something that's borderline not merited, or perhaps not merited.
I can't really. I mean, the last thing that I could really think of is a mutual blow off. The last person
That
that
sounds
I
hot, by the way.
kind of was with
Yeah.
before I became official with my girlfriend.
Okay.
So I just I had a.
How long have you been with your girlfriend?
I mean, we've been dating off and on for 2.5 years, but
Okay.
we just this Thanksgiving, a week before Thanksgiving,
No.
became
That'll do it.
exclusive.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it was this. Were in another.
I didn't know. I just gone out with this girl maybe 3 times and had sex the 4th time, and then went away to Cape Cod for vacation for 2 weeks, and that's where the texting really picked up with my now girlfriend. And when I got back, we were not official, but we were
You've made the
heavy.
decision.
We were heavy,
Yeah.
and I made the decision, and I just felt weird about telling this other person because I had been gone for 2 weeks. We
You didn't
really
feel like
text.
you owe her the full explanation.
I felt like I did because we had slept together.
Sure.
Yes.
But we had not talked at all. And, and then when I got back, I was like, I'm back. And, but there was no, let's get back together. And neither of us really did it.
Right.
So I also felt weird being like, just so you know,
Yeah.
not into it.
Yeah.
Right.
But also, you have to think that if she hasn't been communicating with you, that
Well, that was sort of our thing. We didn't text a lot in between dates. And then it was just like, hey, you want to go out again?
So how did it all end? Was there an official ending, or no? It was
Nothing.
just some mutual ghosting.
Fade. Yeah.
The mutual ghosting.
Yeah.
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 So either you were exactly of the same mind and you handled it perfectly, and she felt the same way, or she's crushed that she never heard from you
Until
again.
she hears this podcast.
I know, right? Yeah.
Future busybody of the week.
I thought he died on a schooner off Cape Cod.
Cape Cod. I tell this story all the time. When Jamie and I, my now wife, when we sort of started hanging out personally, I was dating another girl at the time, and like when we sort of like made out for the first time, I was like, well, I got to break up with Rachel.
Yeah.
Oh, my girlfriend's Rachel. Maybe I got her.
Yeah. It's a cyclical thing.
There's only one Rachel in New York, so it has to be.
She did say when we were together, she's like, you're very nice, but your triglycerides not up to par.
There. I need someone, yeah.
My girlfriend at the time that we were in the scene together would always tell me that she wasn't Jewy enough for me. It was a Sarah.
Oh, really?
But she was like, I'm not Jewish enough for you. You're going to end up with a Rachel. And
that's so
and
funny.
then
that's
like
great.
years later, like we still like FaceTime once a month. She moved to England, but we'll FaceTime like once every other month or something.
Yeah.
And I told her that I had a girlfriend, and she was like, "Oh, what's her name?" I'm like, "I'll give you one guess."
That's hilarious. John, give us your plugs. Anything you want to mention? Anything? This will probably post in a week or two.
All right.
If you have specific things, or if you want to mention the podcast again, social media, anything.
I mean, you know what? I've been putting most of my show stuff in the city up on like Instagram story.
Oh,
anything that's important. Also,
what's your Instagram handle?
Oh, JD Fish, FISCH.
JD Fish.
My Twitter is Johnny Fish, JONNY. And Spiraling Up is the new podcast. Just had Nick Griffin on.
Great! If you go see Jon Fisch perform comedy, you're gonna get a professional show. You're gonna get like what you want from a stand-up comedy performance. That is my take on it. You're gonna get like solid jokes, well performed, like boom, boom, boom. You're not getting any
There's no fat.
No, there's no fat. It's gonna be a lean, mean comedy machine. That is my prediction. So people should go check him out, and definitely, you're funny on Twitter and all that stuff as well. So,
thanks, buddy.
And it's great to catch up.
Yeah,
thanks for coming out.
Thanks for coming
my
on.
pleasure.
And stay busy,
everyone.
Because I'm busy. Whenever I get with her, say I'm busy. And I'm gonna hit you later because I'm busy. Busy with her.